welcome back to the City of Safford Insider. Thank you for joining us today for a special episode. We have the honor of having a special guest join us today. I'm so happy that we have this opportunity to interview our special guest today and get to know them a little bit better. And with this, I hand it off to Eric.
All right, so it's my honor to introduce the mayor of Safford, Richard Ortega. Mayor Ortega is a dedicated leader who has proudly served both his country and his community, a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. Semper Fi, sir.
Bye.
He embodies the values of discipline, commitment, and service. Under his leadership, the city of Safford continues to thrive as a great place to live, work, and visit. His passion for public service and unwavering dedication to the well being of our citizens make him an exemplary figure in our community. I'd like to welcome you to our podcast, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
And I should add before we begin, at the recent League of Arizona Cities and Towns, Mayor Ortega was recognized as one of the longest currently serving elected officials in the state of Arizona with 24 years. So, congratulations for that.
Thank you very much. I will just say one thing. I'm glad you didn't say oldest.
No, sir. No, sir.
Thank you.
I do enjoy working at the City of Safford, so I would not say that. It's a great place to live
What an honor.
and work.
One of two in the whole state of
Yes,
Arizona.
yes.
Thank you for your time and your serving
Thank
to our community. And again, thank you for joining us today.
All right, so a couple questions for you, Mayor, so we can get to know you a little bit, and I'll start. So, if you don't mind, what inspired you to pursue a career in public service and eventually run for mayor?
You know what? I'll start off by saying running for mayor was the farthest thing away from my mind. When I moved into Safford, I moved, my family and I, we moved here in 1972. We opened up in the Mount Graham Shopping Center. Back then, there was nothing between the shopping center and the Best Western. It was totally vacant land. Being there, I got together with her name was Carol Layton. She had a Hallmark gift shop there at the center, and we worked hard because we weren't included in the city at that time. I mean, even though we were part of the city,
Right.
they had nothing to do with us. So basically, we started our own events, different things. We used to bring Santa Claus in on a helicopter, all kinds of different things to keep the shopping center exposure. It was a great time because I was the first one opened up at the shopping center. When I opened the doors, it should have opened up in November the year before. It didn't open up until April of 72. And even at that time, the parking lot wasn't even paved yet.
Oh, wow.
And all the major chains weren't there. Like I say, I was the first one with the doors open. My family and I, well, my wife, thank God for her. We worked together. We learned how to work together. We didn't have nothing, no sense either, but we just had grit. We had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We had a dream. I had a dream all the time of being in business eventually. When I was in the Marine Corps, just before I got out, my wife and I got married. We've been married 56 years. And we lived in Dana Point, just right outside of Camp Pendleton. I worked for pennies, and how that happened. When growing up in Bisbee, our neighbor was J.C. Penney's manager, and just so happens he was in Flagstaff, where I met my wife, and how she put up with me and stuck by me because Vietnam, that was the time of Vietnam, and nobody liked us. Yeah, we were, well, I just learned how to be a loner. She stuck with me. I was trying, after basic, they sent me to Hawaii to a Navy ammunition depot. Back in those days, the Marine Corps used to take care of you, and you could do whatever you wanted. Or they could do whatever they wanted to you. I mean, hands off. Not like now that they softened it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got in so much trouble in Hawaii, they shipped me straight to Nam to get rid of
Oh,
me, or get
wow.
me out of to get me out of off the island. I was a sergeant. I remember. Well, I'll go back in basic when I got off the bus, stepping on the yellow footsteps. Right,
Yes, sir. I remember.
yellow footsteps. The first thing they asked me, Ortega, do you kick? And I told them, I have to. If I have to, I will. That's the way they talked.
You're like, why
Right.
do you think I'm here?
And so they said, you're a squad leader. Our my squad and our platoon came out to be the honor platoon. It's kind of sad things. I'll tell you one of them. Like I say, Vietnam was they either we were called baby killers. We were called everything. Nobody had any no respect for it. I remember graduation. Here we were the honor platoon. Even my family didn't go to see the
Mm-hmm.
graduation, and you'd see all the families and hugging their Marines and all that. And I don't remember what I did. I probably went beep. But to me, it was a learning experience.
Right.
So then when I got to Nam, I was squad leader. When I got there, we landed in Da Nang. Um, the first gear I got at a time like it's still in my mind was in a junk. It was in a pile, blood all over it. What it was, the Marines got their butts kicked, and they just put all their gear there. That's just the way things went then. At that time, we started out with M14s. They were big. They were good rifles. They were heavy. And then, as time went on, they came out with the M16, supposed to be a nice, beautiful, modern rifle. They were terrible. We were issued the first ones. They would jam. They had to be so clean. That's when you see movies or whatever. You'd see them with them. If you're lucky, you had a rubber piece of rubber around your helmet, bug killer or spray, and oil. Because we were constantly having to clean our rifles because any sand would jam them. They corrected that, and then we just moved on. I think what got me going is Nam. I owe a lot to it and the Marine Corps. It grew me up, and you talk to any old veteran. I wasn't drafted. That was before the draft. We joined either because you were in trouble or you just wanted to get out of the house. Take your pick, and they took care of you.
Mm-hmm.
They you learned discipline, respect,
Mm-hmm.
and self confidence, and the love of your brother. That was one thing. The love of your brother. We took care of each other. That's about the whole thing. Like I say, running for mayor, that was the farthest thing from my life. At the shopping center, we Carol and I started what we call it was a merchants, merchants committee where we did fundraisers, Santa Claus, and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. So that was basically my start. I wouldn't trade it. It was a good start.
Thank
What's
you,
next?
Mayor, and thank you for your service.
I have a question about the shop. Because I've had this argument with other people. In the far back corner, did you have a pair of legs hanging down with basketball shorts?
We used to have half a mannequins.
Thank you.
Okay, there you
We
go.
used to.
Yes, B
And
was
I,
right.
I used to be so embarrassed because sometimes I'll go change the mannequin, in a big picture window. Well, that's kind of embarrassing. I'd hurry up and do it.
I was talking with somebody about Ortega shoes, and I was like, "Do you remember the two pairs of legs? Like
Right.
it was a pair of legs at the back corner." They're like, "You're crazy, B. What are you talking about? Like there
but
used
but
to be a
see,
pair of legs."
but see, back then, that's when the women wore stockings. That was a
Oh,
stocking display.
Right.
That's what it
okay.
That would
was.
make sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
I used to remember purchasing my Adidas and my Cortez. Back
Cortez. Yep.
that was where you went to get those shoes. I remember purchasing every year for school.
And when you talk about Cortez, back then it used to be the gang shoe.
Don't say that, Mayor.
No, but then everybody started wearing it, and they
Right.
got rid of it because especially white and red, all those colors
Right.
they
That's
all
true.
stood for something.
Yep.
Right.
All right. So on to the next question, Mayor. How do you stay motivated and focused through these last 24 years of service?
Commitment. I really think of the quality of life for our people. That's very important to me. I budget my time, and again, I'll say it from the Marine Corps: discipline. When you when you do it, you commit yourself. I won't do anything unless I'm going to give 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's plain and simple. I've turned down a lot of different things because I don't feel that I want to make the commitment.
Right.
If I can't make it, I'm not going to.
So, can you share a personal experience that significantly influenced your approach to leadership?
Well, there, I'll go back to, well, I call it NAM. I was a squad leader. We were undermanned. Our squads weren't as big as they should be. I felt responsible for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
We'd go on ambushes. I remember one time, and I told my wife I have to fact check this because I think for years I didn't talk about Nam for like 25 years. My kids didn't even know it until they were grown up. But I remember when Da Nang was getting, I was with an amphibious brigade. We were troubleshooters. We went in by landing craft. We went in by chopper, any way they could get us there. If somebody's in trouble, they
Mhm.
sent us in there to bail them out. Being there, I felt responsible for my squad. We were, like I say, so undermanned on different operations. Um, we were so thin, so few guys. There may be
Mhm.
15 yards between us. So I used to get up and walk to the lines to make sure they were all right.
Right.
And in that one particular time, I think you might know what the word salty means. I'd been there a while, thought I knew too much. I went to check on him that one night, because we had caught some VC and we had him in the middle of our grounds, and we were they were being interrogated. I'll guarantee you back then we got the answers.
Mhm.
So what the VC were trying to do, they were sending mortars in because they knew we were going to get the information. They wanted to hit him, kill him,
Mhm.
so they wouldn't talk. Well, I was walking. There was a dry rice paddy, and the mortars coming in. Well, when a mortar hits something dry, it doesn't just fall forward, or the shrapnel. It falls to the back, and I got hit in the back with shrapnel. It took years for it to pop out,
Wow.
but didn't think about it. I turned down a Purple Heart because to us back then, a Purple Heart was a wound or a coffin.
Right.
So many of us just forget the Purple Heart. So just taking care of my guys, that was huge.
Mhm.
And talking about which somehow I'm gonna have to fact check it. When it came to the shelling of uh, Da Nang, they sent my squad out. That's probably 6, 7 of us guys to go and find out if we could locate where the rockets were being fired, so they could do something about it. But we got ambushed on the way out, and kept I kept my guys okay, alive.
Right.
I can tell you some stupid things I did with the two little tubes. We were set up on an ambush, mosquitoes all over the place, ants, terrible ants, and we're supposed to be quiet and all that stuff still. Well, I went to put my mosquito stuff on, and I grabbed the wrong one. It was oil. I couldn't do anything about it.
Oh.
Wow.
I had a nice shiny face in that ambush. We made it. So that's the whole thing. Keeping my guys alive, my brothers. We were brothers,
Mhm.
and that was about it.
All right, ready for the next one?
Right?
Okay, sir. What do you consider your greatest accomplishment in your career so far?
A water negotiation with the tribe. That is huge. That helped our farming.
Mhm.
It helped the idea we can explore for more water, different places.
Right.
That took a long time of negotiations, and to me that's huge. The water.
How do you balance the demands of public office with your personal life?
Family is number one. You have to have the you have to make time for the family. When I okay, like for a meeting or whatever, I usually study in the morning,
Mhm.
and I'll go over it numerous times, and then in the afternoon I'm pretty much through. But I read my packets and everything
Mhm.
else probably 3, 4 times before the actual meeting, and I take care of the family. My wife has taken care of me for 56 years, and we're still married and love each other. I know she's told me at times she wants, many times she wanted to do harm to me, but we've
That
survived.
means the wife cares.
I know that is so true, and we help each other. I'm not afraid to do dishes.
Right.
I'm not afraid to mop the floor. She does everything for me. Only thing I don't like, well, I do like, I guess. Years ago, I thought I'd help her do laundry, so I did. She had to rewash it because I did it wrong. Because the line was all gritty. I put the soap in the wrong place, and I hung it up. So she told me never touch it again. So and that's fine. So now she'll do the laundry. She'll I'll fold up everything. The thing that she does, maybe you might, I don't know if you still do this. Well, one thing, I still make my bed the same way with a 45-degree angle. That's how you learn.
Right.
I she'll put my chonies for me to fold, and I still fold them the same way I learned back then. She won't do that. That's my job.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Some of us wives are really particular. So my husband and myself, I'm like, you wash and I'll fold because he'll help me out, while I'm at work. And sometimes he tries to fold, and I'm like, what are you doing? He
Give,
tells me, what does it matter? I'm like,
It
I can't
matters.
I can't explain it to you. It matters.
It does.
give him a fitted sheet and see how that goes.
Right.
Who has been a mentor or significant influence in your professional journey, and how did they shape your career?
You know who's been the mentor? I'd say Father Nicodemus, our pastor at St. Rose.
Hmm.
I used to think I was a halfway decent guy until he came in and his first sermon. I said, "Oh, you know what, man, I got to change because he's to the point. He doesn't beat around the bushes.
Hmm.
You know, gray area. They're, you know, black or white."
Right.
And it made me start thinking about who who I am. Um, I think he was and our parish family has been a big influence on me. I'm in the Knights of Columbus. We do different things there. I'm on the honor guard,
Hmm.
um, and all these on the honor guard. Now we're starting to get younger veterans in there,
Hmm.
and us older guys. The stories we share are all about the same. And I'll tell you what, love of country is tremendous. I just wish we could get that instilled in our young people now. It's
I
sad.
feel like it's slowly making its way back.
I
Like the local American Legion here in Safford,
Very true.
the food, amazing. They have the bingo nights, the VFW in
Hmm.
Thatcher. That is making a huge comeback.
I remember from the
I
meeting.
went to like a yard sale thing they had
Right.
there. And before, I remember, a few years back, you'd go see like the older generation of
Right.
veterans doing it. This last time I went, it was more of like closer to my age. And I was like, this is good. Because my brother's in the Marine Corps. And so it's nice to see someone that I can relate to. I love hearing like the historical stories, but someone that is also still proud in this generation of what they've served and to receive that honor. So I'm so glad that like the VFW is making this comeback, the
Exactly.
Legion, and I think it's important. We don't want to everything they do in the military is part of our history of our
Yes.
country, and I think we need to honor that and remember the sacrifices and why we're able to be Americans and live the way we do in our beautiful country.
That's why I mentioned at the meeting. I don't know if anybody caught it when you're going through the, you know, um, canvassing the votes and all that.
Hmm.
I made the comment about, gee, I wish more people would get out and vote. When you look at these other countries,
Hmm.
that they die for this opportunity that we just take for granted.
Yes.
Very true.
That is so sad.
Hmm.
You know, and I'll definitely agree with you on what you say. The younger generation, yes, I think they are coming back. We're getting more patriotism and all that. But the darn thing is, and I'm sorry to say, the news media and all, they just love the bad stuff. It's sad, but
That's what
that's what.
grows their numbers, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah, yeah.
controversial
It
topics.
sells.
And,
Yep.
yep.
At the games on television, but the professionals, when they sing the national anthem,
Hmm.
I don't like it when they decide to put their own version in and leave it alone.
Hmm.
You know, come on. There's some things to me are that's the way they should be.
Right.
Yep.
Agree. Next question. It's kind of a two-parter. So, what do you find most rewarding about serving as mayor, and what are the most challenging aspects?
The most rewarding is being able to improve the quality of life for our citizens. The, the challenge, and yet it's not a challenge, it's a good thing that we are fortunate we have such a diverse council,
Hmm.
different ideas, excuse me, our staff, all kinds of respect for them because they're they they're the workhorses. They bring us the information, and I have a lot of faith in our staff.
Thank you. And I agree. The staff is incredible. This is day 32 for me at the City of Safford. And I try to remind them every week they do an amazing job.
They
Yep.
do, and the thing is I think even a lot of the council, some of the council members, and probably I'm sure the public, we don't realize just how much they put into it, the effort they put into it. It's not just showing up to a meeting and talking.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm going on 10 years with the City of Safford, and I have to say, the staff that we have, it just proves over and over again, it's because they care. They're
Right.
not just here to collect a paycheck, it's because they care. And they care about our community and they care about making benefits for our community,
Mhm.
improving our community. So it makes a huge difference when you have staff that actually cares. And when I used to be in customer service, when we would get someone new, that was like usually what we heard after their first week of working. It's like, we didn't realize everything you do. We
Right.
literally thought you sat here, took my money, gave me a receipt, and went about your day. And there's so much, and I think that goes for every position in the city of Safford. Is we all do a lot.
Mhm.
And you know something we have to, I know I contributed to, is our city manager.
The amount of care that he has for this community and the
Mhm.
change he wants to see and the benefits for the community and the residents. It's if you ever have a chance to sit down and talk to him, his door's usually
His
open.
Open.
He's really busy, but
his passion
his
is
passion, yes,
immeasurable.
It
yes.
really
That's
is.
for
Yeah,
sure.
and it makes a huge difference when you have a leader like that that is looking out not just for the community but also for his employees. It makes you feel appreciated.
And wants to
You
come
want
to
to
work
come.
and
Yes,
enjoys what they do,
yes,
and it really does resonate with the
yes.
staff.
I'll kind of add on to that. I remember one of the council meetings, I won't mention her name, but she commented about how Safford and Thatcher don't get along. And anyway, that was fine. It was said, fine. And I know that's feeling. So anyway, I called the mayor of Thatcher and told him, about that. And I think the lady even mentioned that she had been to the Thatcher meetings and said that feeling and all that. So anyway, I told him, let's get together.
Mhm.
And so John and I, city manager John and I, we took the next step of calling where the two city managers and the two mayors could get together. See, we do a lot of things that people aren't aware of.
Right.
And so we sat down and talked and with the county how much the city of Safford has supported so many things. We've carried so much of the load. And now what we're trying to do is make it fair. Everybody,
Mhm.
contribute.
Very well said. Mayor, how do you stay motivated and focused, especially during difficult times or when faced with a setback?
Again, I'll go back to the Marine Corps. I learned one step in front of the other. You keep on going no matter what. We have a saying too Marines don't retreat, they fight going backwards. For setbacks, you have to plan. You make your plan, fine, well, good, it all sounds peachy and everything, but you had better make an alternative plan of what
Mhm.
if this doesn't work out.
Mhm.
You better have something that you can fall back on,
Right.
maybe one thing or two things. That, to me, that's very important.
All right. And your final question: how do you continue to grow and develop as a leader in your role as the mayor?
Meeting with the city manager and others, John and I, we meet quite often.
Mhm.
Sometimes he'll just call me up and I'll tell him, okay, I'll see you, and I'll be down there half hour. Give me a little bit of time or whatever. And I think the biggest thing is lots of prayers.
Mhm.
I'm a firm believer in that. Lots that doesn't hurt one bit.
Mhm.
He's the one that makes you think, say, whatever. So have
Right.
the faith and don't be ashamed of it.
Very well
Perfect.
said.
Well, again, thank you, Mayor Ortega. It's been a pleasure to have you on here. I think we could sit here and probably make like a 3-hour
We
podcast
probably could.
with Vietnam stories. Thank you for your
Oh boy,
service.